Breakfast Club. I hope all of you are excited for this TJIF segment that we've got for you. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor in Mumbai.
And I'm Toya Singh joining you live from Delhi. We've got an action-packed show today ahead of us. Let's take a look first at everything we have. Are you tired of your ex? Are you mad at your boss? Are you going red with rage? Enter the rage room. From throwing axes to smashing computers, anger rooms are all the rage in India. Rage rooms help you let off your steam. You can smash away at all of your stress, and you won't believe how angry you really are until you visit the rage room.
What's in a clay pot? Well, Ghatam Suresh Vaidyanathan joins us on TBC. He's globalizing the soul katu style. We'll speak to him for a very, very special chat right here on The Breakfast Club.
And now to the scorching heat wave we're all having to deal with on TBC. We're going to get you a summer special drink, Bel Ka Sharbat. You can make this at home, and Chef Sneha Singh Upadhyay is going to teach you exactly how.
And thank God it's Friday. What's on the silver screen? Must-watch releases if you just want to sit at home and watch on OTT. You have plans, don't have plans? Well, we've made an itinerary for you.
And we like to keep you updated with every sphere in the sports world. RCB Royal Challengers Bangalore versus Mumbai Indians. The highlights from last night. The all-round batting masterclass we got from Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians' dominant 7-wicket win over RCB. What led to it? Which players performed incredibly? We're going to bring you all of that and more.
And did you know that India has the second largest number of online gamers in the world? Well, we'll bring you these visuals of the Prime Minister also interacting with the top gamers in India. He even tried his hand at the video games. All right then, let's start the program by bringing you something fun. I believe there is a quick visual really out there for you. Let's play that and we'll come right back.
So, Sonal, can you just tell us a little bit more about these visuals you were saying? They're destructive visuals, and I just want to tell our audiences a little bit about this. There's a release that comes after what you do inside a specific room. You're going to tell us a little bit more, Sonal, after this. First, let's just show our audiences what you brought us. This incredible journey into a specific place in Mumbai where you can go and change your emotions entirely. Take a look.
What do you do when you're really mad in life? Some people go for a run, some go for a swim, some call up their best friend. But some do this. Feeling red with rage? There is now a room for you. It's simply called the Rage Room. All you have to do is get up and smash the stress to your heart's content. You can unleash your inner Hulk and smash almost anything to bits. Beer bottles, glasses, mugs, bowls, tube lights, and even TV. Basically everything except human beings, of course. Gatam! How did you enjoy this?
That was a really fun experience. My girlfriend's rage was clearly a very good thing to watch, and I now know what I shouldn't do.
How did it feel?
Amazing. Nothing better than a week of frustration coming out like this.
You're sweating all over. What were you thinking when you were smashing it?
Toughest problems. No better therapy than this.
What were you thinking when you were smashing?
एग्ज़ाम आ रहे तो फ्रस्ट्रेशन था वो निकालना था तो आ गया मज़ा आ गया फ्रस्ट्रेशन सारा निकल गया एन्जॉइंग अ लॉट.
Sydney is the manager of the Rage Room. So Somesh, firstly tell me what kind of people come here generally?
So all sort of people come here. Basically, some come here for fun. Some come here, after breakup to remove their frustration, vent out their anger.
Yeah.
Yes. Some come here with family. Some come here with their colleagues. So for fun and just try out something new.
To take out the work stress.
Yes, obviously.
Boss से भरे बैठे Rage Room चलते हैं. But do men come more than women or how does it work?
Yes. So basically, I was surprised to see that 80% of our customer are women and 20% are men.
Wow, 80% are women.
Yes.
That's something to think about. But you were telling me there are birthday parties also that get organized here?
Oh yes. So on our website we have an option of birthday decoration. You just have to pay extra 500 rupees and we'll make your birthday special.
Right. So it will be quite a raging birthday then. Yeah, right?
Yes.
The experience at the Rage Room is simple yet exhilarating. You can smash and scream all you like, but remember, it will not solve your underlying issues. If you want a healthy, happy life, so guys, go watch The Breakfast Club. It's known to bring a smile to your face. For now, with camera person Manas and Kalpesh, this is Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor, signing off.
That was the coolest. Sonal, I have to ask you, tell us, what were you thinking when you were smashing all of those bottles?
Well, I'll tell you, maybe in the ad break, not a good idea to be revealing all this on national television. But the idea of the Rage Room is not new. It started in Japan and quite interesting, no? Japan, the land of Zen gardens, minimalism, and all of it also is the land of Rage Rooms.
Indeed. In fact, the Rage Room concept first originated, if we take you back to around 2008, and the goal was, let's provide stressed out workers who are doing these 9 to 5, sometimes 9 to 10 p.m. jobs. They need an outlet for their frustrations. And maybe it's the simplicity of the idea. You're going into a room, you're smashing something, combined with the pressures of just everyday modern life. Smash Rage Rooms starting to pop up everywhere across the entire world.
And as a concept done right, it's replicable, right? And the franchisable as well. So perhaps it's not a surprise that now you have a number of them emerging here in India as well. So we thought we'll talk to the woman who has brought Rage Room to India. Let's welcome Ana Shetty on the program now. Ananya, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on the Breakfast Club. I first want to say that I really had a fab experience going into the Rage Room and understanding it. But tell us, what made you think of the Rage Room?
So the concept came about from my journey in mental health. In the last 5 years, especially in IIT Madras, I was working on a suicide prevention platform that did not work out due to pandemic. But then I was in the field, taking care of the latest updates and things like that. And one fine night it just came to me, and I decided to see that to make it happen because people needed it. A lot of people in the online forums, on Twitter, on Reddit, were saying that they want a place in Bangalore. So I decided to do it more as an experiment. And when I realized the relief typified fight, the kind of fun experience they were having, I decided to take it pan India. So it's in Mumbai and we are opening in Delhi next month.
Nice. Can we take a little bit of a deep dive into you? How did an IITian end up making the Rage Room concept here in India?
No, definitely not. So I did not study engineering, I studied science.
Okay.
And I went into digital marketing field because that was my passion. I love the idea of making people see things, to the idea of creating craft with words And so I was in the marketing field for a long time, and this was more of a natural progression in my career.
Right. But Ananya, tell us, very interesting insight came out of that experience. We got to know that there are more women than men who actually visit these outlets. Do you have an insight into why that happens?
So there are two reasons. One is women are separated a lot. You are expected to behave in a certain way in front of everyone. You are expected to be polite, to show your emotions again. But then there is a lot more stress and more pain because of our hormonal cycles. So we have a lot of pent-up rage within that we don't really let out.
That's true.
And this is a safe, no judgment zone. And I think men find it comfortable to just let it all out. And the second reason is women by default are more experimentative than men. They like trying new things, they like exploring and just having fun and adventure.
True.
So they come over. And men are more secluded and quiet in general. And they take out anger in public. They don't need a place like this.
Wow, I love those answers. Can you also tell us any fun anecdotes, fun stories that you've seen in the last few years of running these spaces?
Yeah, so people usually come for birthday party and for anniversary celebration when they want to make like a super memorable event. And this is a very unique thing that is not there anywhere else in India. It's very niche and localized. So this is like once in a lifetime experience for most of the people to just get to have fun and just break things randomly. And there are a lot of bloopers as well. Where they try to break but it doesn't break. So that creates a lot of laughter and fun.
True, true. But Ananya, I want to know, have you ever used the range room? And if yes, what got you there? What was the trigger?
Yeah, I have used it a couple of times, but all of them came not when I was angry, but when I was sad, when I was deeply in pain. It was more of a good way to vent out my frustration. For example, there was this one time when some random stranger assaulted me, and I couldn't let out my frustration that time. But in the regular, it was a safe place to get vent it all out.
Can I ask, you've been in the mental health space. This is obviously a cathartic release for anyone who's going inside. But does it actually help?
Yes, so there is a general consensus saying that scientific research does not support it. But that is not true because from what we have known and observed, if it is done in a safe way, it encourages a cathartic release. And there are several scientific papers that have been published released. When you are holding up emotions within, it just boils over, and you end up displaying microaggression toward people. This helps in reducing that. But if you use racism as an act of violence, then no, that is not good for you. But most of the people who come to us, they come to just let out their frustrations and get that awareness. There are many steps in healing. And the first step is to know that yes, I'm angry or yes, I'm in pain so that you can seek help. And this is the first step in creating that awareness.
Thank you so much, Ananya, for joining us and also bringing this initiative to the country. As you told us, it's already there in a few cities. There are other versions also of this that are there in many different cities across the countries. TBC family, you can Google it. Okay, as you were telling us, Ananya, this concept does have a deeper meaning too. And anger stemming from anxiety, from stress, is just how we manage things. Sonal, do you want to tell us more?
Yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games at start, right? But what we need to understand with the Rage Room story is that it's beyond that. It's about anger stemming from anxiety, going to stress, and it's just, how our modern day life is these days. So let's get a professional medical opinion on this. Dr. Harish Shetty is a psychiatrist at Dr. Hiranandani Hospital here in Mumbai, and I want to bring him down the program. Good morning, Dr. Shetty. Lovely to have you here on the Breakfast Club.
Morning.
The mood here,
Morning, Sonal.
the mood here in the studio is not of rage, but is one of understanding rage. So we want to get a professional view here and say that is cathartic release. Now we know it's important, but how important is having this release of emotions?
Cathartic release is extremely important, and maybe in this angst-driven world, the importance is much more. But what I advise people is express early, lest you explode later. Catharsis is an expression of feelings, probably associated with thoughts. But breaking things is not catharsis, that is violence. So these centers which has started probably helps a lot of people to find a space, a safe space, wherein they can actually express. Again, critical is that one should understand that there are different ways of managing aggression. Anger needs to be destigmatized. Pure anger is love, but there are many ways to manage aggression, and that is exercise dissolves fears, tears and anger. Pranayam and Vipassana can dissolve fears, tears and anger. But in this angst-driven world, when we have no time to meet people, emotional contact time being very, very less, it is also important to have a catharsis with your counselor, with your psychologist, or probably a room which is guided by a mental health professional.
Yeah.
Doctor, can you tell us how...
We need to also look at one important...
No, go ahead, doctor, please.
Yes. I think we need to understand that we should not choose everybody to have an expression of catharsis. We need to find out where they come from. What is the state? Is it agitation, which is related to stress and close to depression? Is it extreme problems with close relatives and stories? Sometimes repair of the stories are more important than cathartic experience.
True.
Doctor, can you also tell us a little bit about the breakdown here? How does unmanaged stress lead to anger? What's happening in our bodies, in our minds?
Absolutely. In fact, at workplace, at home, and with families, sometimes there are issues which cannot be resolved because there's hardly any time to speak to each other and express each other's feelings. The family contact time has gone down. At that point of time, hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis, it's an axis which handles stress, it breaks down. And when it breaks down, there's a cortisol rain in the brain. When there's a cortisol rain in the brain, what happens is the entire mind orchestra goes for a toss. So anger gets converted into aggression, aggression gets converted into humiliation, and people might vent out on the roads, inside the family, at workplaces, with their hands and feet and also their heart. So this is what it is.
Yeah.
Interrupting this cycle and helping people to understand stress much better, which means don't wait for the emotions to build up. Don't wait for the negative emotions to build up. Release it every day. Resolve it every day, and don't allow it to explode when you are in a miserable state. So
That's a great point, Dr. Shetty. Yeah. What I'm trying to get to next is that
emotional hygiene
we also
is
need
very
to.
important.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I want to bring in another aspect here, Dr. Shetty, that, we also perhaps need to destigmatize, anger. There's a difference between anger and aggression.
Absolutely.
And anger sometimes is also a very legitimate emotion. You shouldn't feel bad about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, anger is one of the most important emotions. Anger is energy. Pure anger is love. You get angry at people whom you love. But people mistake aggression for anger. So it's important to understand that expressing feelings is normal. But expressing adjectives which is feeling plus judgment, is abnormal. Which means if I'm angry with my son or my husband, I would tell him that I'm really angry with you because you did badly in your exams, or I'm really angry with you because you came late. But if I stop, if I don't express, then this anger gets converted into adjective because there is a judgment. And you use words like horrible. I have never seen somebody like you. You are cheap. You are terrible. So when you move into the space of adjectives, that means your mental health is going for a toss. Those who use a lot of adjectives and sarcasm in their lives have a lot of stored negative energy which needs a lot of catharsis.
So, Doctor, thank you for pointing that out for us. Essentially, Doctor saying, A, be aware of the language you're using. Let's just tell our audiences very quickly where else you can go. So, we've just opened this out. Remember, the doctor just said the healthiest way is to take it out. That's a good thing to be doing. Get an outlet. And these are actually places you can go across the entire country. So, there's in Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Indore. These are all cities that have some kind of either rage room, smash room. You just need to Google it. So do go there. Do exactly what Sunal did. You can see this map on your screens.
That's true. Do that or do whatever gets your good, guys, as long as there's a release really out there. But on that note, let's move on and let's bring you more stories from India and across the world. China has sent a high-level delegation to North Korea, marking the start of a friendship year. Zhao Liji is leading the Chinese delegation on a 3-day goodwill trip as tensions simmer in the region. The visit signals a strategic move by both China and North Korea amidst shifting geopolitical dynamics.
And a super interesting story coming in from South Florida, where researchers are trying to prevent predatory fish from devouring laboratory-grown coral, and they're grasping at biodegradable straws in an effort to restore what some call the rainforest of the sea. Scientists around the world have been working for years to address the decline of coral reef populations. Just last summer, reef rescue groups in South Florida and the Florida Keys were trying to save coral from rising ocean temperatures.
Lawmakers in Poland have begun debating changes to the country's harsh abortion laws that had grown more restrictive during the 8 years of the conservative nationalist governments. The liberalization access to abortion has been a central campaign promised by the Prime Minister there, Donald Tusk, and a civil coalition that emerged victorious in the elections in October that saw high turnout, partly due to the women's rights issues.
And in the UK, royal courtiers privately put pressure on the Welsh government to ensure that King Charles could not be prosecuted for rural crimes under a new law that ministers had drawn up. Now, the elected politician in the Welsh government, who is in chief, he's the chief legal advisor, was quote-unquote not happy that the king was to be given the special exemption from prosecution, but agreed to it last year.
Apple users, listen up. There is now a fresh batch of threat notifications to users in 92 countries, including India, warning them that there may have been an individual targeted by several mercenary spyware attacks attempting to remotely compromise their iPhone. In the notification, Apple notes that the mercenary spyware attacks such as those using Pegasus from the NSO group are exceptionally rare and vastly more sophisticated than the regular cybercrime activity or consumer malware.
And this is a super interesting one. A bill introduced in the US Congress intends to force artificial intelligence companies to reveal the copyrighted material that they're using to make all of their generative AI models. The legislation essentially adds to a growing number of attempts from lawmakers, news outlets, artists. They're all trying to establish how AI firms use creative works of others like songs, visual art, books, movies to train their software, and whether those companies are illegally building their tools off copyrighted content.
Meta has unveiled a game-changing upgrade for Facebook Messenger, promising users a sharper visual experience with the introduction of HD photo sharing. With the rollout of 4K resolution capabilities and enhanced compression, users can now enjoy higher quality photos without compromising on a file size or even network constraints.
And up next, a very, very interesting segment for you. What's in a clay pot? The Pele of Percussion and the Matka beat. Globalizing the sound from the south. We're going to bring you all of this in just a few minutes. V. Suresh with the beats of Bharat.
Come right back.
So our first story today is a rather special one. It's one that we discovered right here in our backyard in Noida. Just a few minutes away from our studios is a special little school where you have hundreds of students who are going to be receiving education. This is students with lesser access. Each batch is about 40 students large. They make the yummiest meals from scratch. Just close your eyes. Imagine balushai, chow mein, fluffy bread rolls.
अरे hold on, Toya, stop getting carried away by the food. खबर क्या है ये भी तो बता दे अपने viewers को. It's not just the food, of course. These students are taught how to envision new business models from scratch. Right from ideation to execution, this little academy finds eager students, it trains them, and then it places them into employment. So it's an end-to-end program.
So we're super excited to get to know how so many young people were getting this kind of training so they could essentially be entirely self-reliant in just a span of a few months, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, based on the course. It led us to take a deep dive as we discovered the kind of efforts that we've been seeing going on in the field of skill development across the country over the last few years.
That's right, and it's much needed, no? Because India, there are about 808 million youth, young people below the age of 35, and data suggests that only about 5% of them are formally trained. What that means is that you sometimes have even graduates who aren't prepared for how competitive the job market really is.
The tricky thing is, I mean, you and I both know the job market is a terrifying place if you're a young person. Now, the great thing is that this is something that government after government has tried to work on over the last few years. The Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana was launched in 2015, so a few years ago, and it had one goal, skilling the entire country. Because for most young Indians, the tricky part, paying for building employability, which means paying to get the skills that you need so that you can be employed. That's actually the trickiest part. That's where this mission steps in. You've got so far till date, we talked about 2015 it's starting, till date 1,37 lakh people that have been trained under the scheme.
That's right, but we need to get into more details, right? What does it actually do? How does the program actually run? How many people are training under it? Who funds it, etc.? How do we make sure students aren't fully skilled but also excited to get up out there and get into the market as well? So to understand all of this, TBC team visited the Gyanshri Training Center, and this is what we found.
Hello, we're here not at an empty restaurant. We're actually at this very, very cool initiative started within a school in Noida. This is the Gyanshri School, and this is the Skill Training Academy. Right here, those who have lesser access are trained in a variety of skills. It's a whole world of different behind-the-scenes skills, front-of-the-scenes skills that will equip them better for facing the world. And they even leave with an employment opportunity in hand. This is the Skill Academy, built on the premises of the Gyanshri School in Noida, in partnership with Haldiram's. The largest portion of the academy is devoted to imparting culinary skills to those who are lesser privileged. So everything from all the intricacies involved in making delicious barfi to the A to Z's involved in running your own restaurant business successfully.
welcome back. Since it's Friday, it's time to bring some music to the show.
Doesn't that sound fantastic? The tonality itself, it's unique. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Ghatam. Our person of interest on this edition is a prominent exponent of this musical instrument that not only has a pride in the place in Indian classical music, especially Carnatic classical, but it's also a prominent feature in world music.
And did you know that the earthy beats of the Ghatam make it one of the most ancient instruments? The Ghatam is derived from the Sanskrit word Ghata. It is also known in North India very famously as a Ghada or a Matka, as you would know. It finds a mention in ancient texts as well, like Valmiki's Ramayana, even in the Tamil text like Silapatikaram.
The Ghatam began its journey as a folk instrument, but it entered the classical domain in the 19th century. So the famed Polagam Chittambarayar is recorded as the first ever Ghatam Vidwan or maestro. Now, of course, there is the late Shri Vikku Vinayak Ram. He, in our times, is referred to as the god of the Ghatam.
That's right. And originally, backup for another sort of percussion instrument, the mridangam, the Ghatam today finds its own sort of status as a preferred solo instrument the world over. So it makes the Ghatam. So, you know, the question really is, and we've done a lot of research already, as you can tell from our reads here, what makes the Ghatam so very interesting and where does it come from? It is a clay pot, but not clearly like any other clay pot. There has to be a certain strength and tonality that is critical, and such kind of clay is found in a place called Manamadurai, near the city of Madurai in Tamil Nadu.
And as Sonal was saying, there has to be something special, right? The clay has natural minerals like copper, brass elements mixed into it. And that's what makes the Ghatam produce that strong and very distinct tonality. In fact, each Ghatam sounds different, and the artists check, they pick, they choose exactly what they want. Now, we'll just tell you a little bit more. The Ghatam has some famed exponent, Vikku Vinayak Ramji. There is Suresh Vaidyanathan, who we're going to be talking to today. He's nicknamed the Pele of Percussion. There's Gurpreet Singh Maan. There's the international percussionist John Bagamo. No, it's not a male-dominated domain, though. India's very own Sukanya Ramagopalji and Sumana Chandrasekharji. Those are two women who are renowned for their Ghatam skills. Do look at them after watching this edition of TBC. But joining us here on the show today is Shri Suresh Vaidyanathan, one of the foremost exponents of the Ghatam for nearly 4 decades now. He's a student of the famed Padma Bhushan, Vikku Vinayak Ramji, who we told you about a little earlier. That's one of the founding members of Shakti, of course, along with Ustad Zakir Hussain and John McLaughlin.
सुरेश जी नमस्कार, बात करने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे ब्रेकफास्ट क्लब पर. I want to understand, did you find the Ghatam or did the Ghatam find you? What is the story here?
Hello everyone. I started learning percussion at the age of 6. I was inspired by the great Vikku Vinayak Ram, where I was attending his concert as a toddler along with my parents. And my grandfather took me to Vikkuji's father to initiate me into percussion because I was more attracted to the Ghatam. And right at the age of 8, I was initiated to Ghatam by the doyen of Ghatam himself, Vikku Vinayak Ramji. Then I had a long journey of learning from another doyen, Dr. T.V. Gopalakrishnan, who is the living legend. And also, I was inspired by many percussion players all through my career. So Ghatam I chose because of the unique tonality and the special stature it has in the field.
How nice.
Artists tend to be very possessive about their instrument. They're very careful of it. Are you too?
I am. In fact, my family members would say it's the Ghatam that is closest to me than themselves. I am very meticulous about my Ghatam, and it's very fragile. We have special boxes made for carrying them. When you put it in the cargo in the flights. Yeah. And even in my music room, nobody is allowed who cannot be seriously handling the instrument. So very limited entry. I will be personally taking care of all the Ghatams, and some of them are even 70 to 80 years old because I got it from my teacher's family who have been maintaining it for so long. So these are all very precious and invaluable Ghatams. So they are very closest to my heart.
And handled with care, definitely. But Suresh, tell us, you must have performed world over, of course, but can you share some fond memories, something that really stayed with your heart?
There are some occasions where I have, found my Ghatam broken into pieces when I landed in some places like in China in 1986. So I could not find an alternative to play on. I went with Dr. S. Balachandar in 1986. So the host took me to a common clay pot shop where the terracotta pots were made, and I had to select one that matched the key of Dr. S. Balachandar, and I found a couple of them which actually traveled with me for the entire tour. And at the end of the tour I could not part with them, but the host wanted me to give them as a souvenir. Touching was there. So emotional were they attached to the instrument actually. So that was one unique experience. And another one was when all of a sudden Dr. Paul Simon, Sir Paul Simon invited me along with Sri Guru Karekudi Mani, the phenomenal Mridangam legend. When we were in United States, he invited us to his Manhattan studio and asked us to record for his album So Beautiful or So What. This was about a decade back. So that was a pleasant experience, and to meet Paul Simon itself was a great experience. And then he asked us to play for his album, and that became a talk of the season that time. Ghatam was there in a pop album that could be talked about worldwide.
Wow.
So tell us, the Bol Bani or the Sol Kattu style is what you love to teach. How does this style tie in with the kind of music you see world over, with musicians world over?
Takkita takadin din ta tam, tatakita takadin din ta dim, tarikita takadin din ta tam, tading ginatum, tading ginatum, tading ginatum, tading ginatum, tading ginatum, tading ginatu ta. This is the language of percussion. That is one of the three basic elements of percussion. You have the tala system as the first element, the language of rhythm as a second element, and the percussion instruments on which the language of rhythm that is applied. So the solkattu forms the basis of whatever instrument you play around. The solkattu is the language which is interpreted on an instrument. So if someone cannot play on a percussion instrument, because it takes long years to master a percussion instrument, to become an expert and to play in a concert. But if you're already a drummer, if you're a saxophone player, if you're a pianist, if you're a bass player, you can still learn konakol and apply the same in their own music. They can compose music based on this konakol patterns. For example, ta, ding, gin, na, tum, takita, 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 ta, ding, gin, na, tum, takadina, 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 ta. If I just give these two statements to him and ask him to improvise, so he can first learn this and apply it on his instrument and then try to improvise with his own imagination. So this is how the initiation takes place, and konakol and the solkattu, which is the format, and konakol is the performing performing percussion of the solkattu. So this is how the Indian percussion can easily reach the Western audience and Western musicians.
Wow. Wow, that's just amazing, Sureshji. You've given us a little glimpse. We can't let you go without, of course, giving us a little more. Would love to have a short demonstration, please.
Okay, I will do that with a special note today because this is election time in India and I'm keenly following everything happening. I have a few statements to make which can be, musically interpreted. Nationalism is my way or nationalism is the way, separatists stay away. I'll play that. Nationalism is our way, separatists stay away. And then, no corruption, no drugs. No corruption, no drugs. And then, common man's grief is important. Common man's grief to go. Common man's grief to go. Common man's grief to go. Ta tadim ta tadim tadim. Takita takita dina tadim tadim ta. Tadim 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 ta. Din tra 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 tra. Tadim kadin ta tadim kadin ta. Dum 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 to ta. Tadim tam tam tam. Din tatakadin din tatakadin din ta.
All right, incredible there. Thank you, Sureshji, so much for joining us and sharing all those lovely notes with us right here on The Breakfast Club. All right then, shifting focus now to something a little different. This weekend, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, they're all going to see temperatures in mid-30s and it's going to be a hot, hot time coming in our way.
Here at TBC, we haven't yet mastered controlling global temperatures. We're working on it. But we can tell you how you can keep yourself cool with a nifty little solution that has a bunch of scientific benefits. This is how you can beat the heat. Take a look.
Hello and welcome. Today we're going to beat the heat with a childhood favorite. I'm sure ये आपने कभी ना कभी तो try किया ही होगा. We're making बेल का शरबत. पहले start करेंगे with cracking open a ripe bale. Remove all the pulp in a large bowl. Now we're going to mash this up. I'm using a masher, but you can use your hands for this too. Now we're going to add water to this and continue mashing. Now I'm going to strain this and repeat the same process once again. Did you know Bale has multiple health benefits? It improves liver function, keeps your body cool and prevents gut issues too. So now that this is done, we're going to add in our masalas. Add jeera powder, black salt, jaggery and lemon juice. So now we'll just mix this up well and it's ready to serve with some ice. Serve this in a tall glass. Now add lots of ice. And sip in.
Yum! Speaking about the heat, it's finally the weekend, so you can relax, you can kick back, and you can finally unplug.
But Toya, how are you feeling? It's been week 1 for you here with the TBC family.
I'll be honest, it's been incredible, but I need one day to sleep in Sunil. My bed is calling me.
Welcome to our life. Okay, so while Toya will get some sleep, all of you, if you are in a mood to sort of watch something, go out with your family, here's what the weekend has for you.
Welcome back to your ultimate TGIF weekend entertainment wrap-up, where we bring to you the hottest releases and events to kickstart your weekend with a bang. Let's begin with any further ado. First up, the big silver screen releases. Number 1 is much anticipated Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. It's an action-packed extravaganza directed by Ali Abbas Zafar, featuring Akshay Kumar and Tiger Shroff as soldiers, with Prithviraj Sukumaran as the antagonist. It's releasing in your nearby theatres on Thursday as well. Number 2 is Maidan, a biographical drama depicting the golden era of Indian football, starring Ajay Devgan as coach Syed Abdul Rahim, who revolutionized Indian football, again in your nearby theatres on Thursday. Number 3 is Goraiya Live. It's based on a true incident. This film follows a family protecting a Goraiya bird in disguise. Now let's take you through the big OTT releases as well. Number 1 is Anthracite. It's releasing on Netflix. It's a French thriller series unraveling a decades-old mystery in a small mountain town, exploring secrecy, cult dynamics, and untimely death. Number 2 is Blood Free, coming up on Disney Plus Hotstar. Set in futuristic South Korea, tensions escalate as suspicions around biotech corporation's revolutionary advancements in meat production comes to light. Number 3 is Hijacking of Flight 601, coming up on Netflix again. A dramatization of high-octane confrontation aboard an aircraft during Colombian political unrest, where flight attendants actually face off against armed hijackers. Number 4 is As the Crow Flies, Season 3, coming up on Netflix, exploring the complexities within journalism marked by ambition, rivalry, and the unyielding pursuit of truth. Number 5 is Baby Reindeer, again coming up on Netflix. It's a drama series based on true events, delving into the darker aspects of human connections as comedian faces a harrowing ordeal with a stalker. Number 6 is Heartbreak High Season 2, coming up on Netflix. It's a teen drama series unfolding with more drama and vibrancy at Hartley High, exploring love, triangles, friendships, and challenges of adolescence. Number 7 is Amar Singh Chamkila, coming up on Netflix. It's a biopic capturing the remarkable journey of Punjabi singer Amar Singh Chamkila, portrayed by very famous singer Diljit Dosanjh. Number 8 is Fallout. It's coming up on Prime Video. Set in a post-nuclear Los Angeles, the series follows survivors navigating a world filled with mutants and ruins of civilization, offering a blend of adventure and dark comedy. Now come out of your house, attend some of the live events as well. Number 1 is WSC Summer Bash with When Chai Met Toast. They are performing live in Ahmedabad on April 13th. Number 2 is a very famous comedian, Zakir Khan. He is performing his live set in Mumbai on April 14th. Number 3 is also a very famous comedian, Gaurav Gupta. He is out on his India tour. He is performing on April 13th in Bangalore and on April 14th in Hyderabad as well. Number 4 is Realm of a Poet. Shair Sartaj is performing his live set in Chandigarh on April 14th. Do catch his performance. Now, whether you're hitting the theatres, cozying up at your home with your favorite streaming platform, or stepping out for a live performance, make sure to make the most of your weekend. Until next time, stay entertained with TGIF. Bye-bye.
Alright, and it's not just movies and fun, there's also games in IPL. So Thursday night, we watched one of the most complete T20 performances with Mumbai Indians, showing us all how it's done and giving Wankhede Stadium the match of their dreams.
Hardik chants. You had a 5-wicket haul for Jasprit Bumrah and a half-century for Suryakumar Yadav. MI totally demolished RCB last night. Jamie Alter brings you more. Take a look.
What a match. A target of 197 chased in 15.3 overs. Talk about a run fest. When was the last time we saw a target in the vicinity of 200 chased inside 16 overs? This, make no mistake, is a statement win from Mumbai Indians. We've talked in past shows, we've debated, we've had discourse on how Mumbai Indians over the years have been slow starters. And after dropping 3 matches, they've now managed to win 2 in a row to move off last position on the points table. When I talk about statement wins, I mean 197 chased in 15.3 overs, a whirlwind 50 from Ishan Kishan, a fantastic 52 ball 18 from Suryakumar Yadav. Did anyone watching Suryakumar Yadav in yesterday's match get the feeling that this guy had been away from cricket for over 4 months? Absolutely not. And the way he got a duck in the first match, maybe some doubts lingered about Sky. Would he come back? Well, let's not have any such concerns. If you're a Mumbai Indians fan, This is fantastic to see the way that Suryakumar Yadav just came back and picked up from where he batted 4.5 months ago when he was scoring hundreds for fun. A 50 in just 18 balls. And when he got out, I said, you know what? Yes, I thought he'd get a bit more. I thought he'd finish the match off. But that 52 off 18 balls, that is worth a lot more. Just given the fact, A, where Mumbai Indians have been over the last few weeks, and B, like I said, 4+ months away from cricket for Suryakumar Yadav. Fantastic comeback from him. Hardik Pandya finally showing up, smashing the ball all over the Wankhede to put the finishing touches on an astounding win for Mumbai Indians. If you're an RCB fan, look away. Your team is just not getting anything right. A total of 196 was fashioned around 350s. We saw Rajat Patidar come and smash a 50 at almost a strike rate of 200. Faf du Plessis, the out-of-form RCB skipper, getting 60 odd. And then Dinesh Karthik walking out and getting a 50 in 21-22 balls. 3 ballistic 50s, and still RCB don't end up on the right side of the result. Maybe we shouldn't be too surprised given how poor RCB's bowling has been. Look at the bowling figures from yesterday. Every single bowler went from between 10 per over to like 17 per over. Unfortunately, RCB fans, you're not going to win too many matches with that kind of bowling. What we also have to discuss in this match is how good Jasprit Bumrah was. I know, there was a lot of buzz about Jasprit Bumrah, but I waited until the end of my match summary to discuss Jasprit Bumrah because the rest of the performances were maybe a bit surprising. But when it comes to Jasprit Bumrah, who I feel is the best all-format bowler going around, nothing should surprise you. The man hardly gives runs, he nails Yorkers at will, he has full tosses that even prove difficult to hit, and he's taking wickets. 5 wickets, the second time in the IPL history that Boom Bumrah has got 5 wickets. You look at his figures, you look at the fact that RCB still got to 196, and you wonder, what would Mumbai Indians do without the genius known as Jasprit Bumrah? That's why I keep saying he is the best all-format bowler going out, because he does not give bad balls. It's extremely tough to hit him. And look at what he does. He comes and he changes the match, in a matter of overs. He got Virat Kohli, who has been looking like $1 million all this IPL. He got Faf du Plessis before he could get 100. And then he comes back in that final spell and takes 3-4 wickets to just run through the lower order. Bumrah, you are a genius. Sky, welcome back to IPL cricket. And let's say it cautiously, Mumbai Indians might actually be onto something now.
All right, so that's from the world of cricket, and now let's take you to something that's over the last few years earned its stripe as a legitimate sport. Or has it really? The jury's out on that one.
It made its debut as an official event at 2022 Asian Games in Hangzhou. Let me give you another clue. Baldur's Gate, The Legends of Zelda, Street Fighter.
Guys, we're talking about the world of gaming, of course, and according to us here in TVC, it's not just something we talk about enough, because with around 42.5 crore gamers, India has the second largest number of online gamers in the world.
That's an insane number, and I believe it's second only to China. I've learned China has around 75 crore gamers.
Yeah. That's correct. By 2028, experts say that Indian gaming market could reach $8 to $10 billion annually. And guys, this is something people give hours of their life to.
Right. I've watched my baby brother. He'd give hours of his life to FIFA. He'd be locked in his room. It's good to see. It's finally moving from being something where parents are like, oh, he's wasting his time, to this is an actual art form.
Agreed, because what bigger acknowledgement could all these gamers get by the entire sort of gaming society, industry, family getting legitimization and a sort of endorsement from the Prime Minister himself, where he met with the top gamers in the country, even tried the VR and discussed some really cool things with them. Take a look.
We are here for a big moment. But that moment, जब बस वो आ रहे हैं, हार्ट बीट स्टॉप हो जाने वाला मोमेंट था वो।
स्वागत है आप सबका। अच्छा होने दीजिए।
1-on-1 जब हम उनसे सामने मिले, हमें लगा ही नहीं कि हमारे एज में इतना डिफरेंस है।
मैं कलर करके बाल वाइट रखता हूँ।
करते तो ऐसा ही लगता है कि हम हमारे एक फैमिली मेंबर से बात कर रहे हैं।
2019 में आई थिंक मैं बोलता हूँ कि गेमिंग काफ़ी स्पीड पकड़ी, रफ्तार पकड़ा। हमारी जो मिथोलॉजी है जो उसके अराउंड काफ़ी गेम्स डेवलप हो रहे हैं अभी।
गवर्नमेंट इज रिकॉग्नाइजिंग हमारे क्रिएटिविटी।
सब कुछ मेरे आने के बाद हुआ। क्या आपको ये फेस करना पड़ता है गेमिंग एंड गैम्बलिंग, इन दोनों की लड़ाई आपके सामने आती होगी, तब आप कैसे हैंडल करते हैं?
सर आरएमजी और स्किल बेस्ड गेमिंग को बहुत हाई टाइम हो गया कि डिफरेंशिएट करें।
और क्या लगता है लड़कियों का इसमें आना कितना संभावना बढ़ती है?
जब मैंने शुरू किया था तो मेरे पास भी 100-200 ऐसे लड़कियों के मैसेज आते हैं कि हमने आपको देख के स्टार्ट किया। हमारे इंडिया में भी लड़कियां टेक फील्ड में और गेमिंग फील्ड में आगे आ रही हैं।
ये आप पेन दीजिए।
पहले तो निकला।
सर बहुत जल्दी कैचअप कर रहे थे। अगर मैं अपने पापा को भी सिखा रहा होता ना, वो फर्स्ट ट्राई में इतना ज्यादा नहीं कर पाते।
पीएम के साथ गेम खेलना आई थिंक ये वंस इन अ लाइफ वाला एक चीज हो गया जो मैं आई थिंक कभी नहीं भूल पाऊंगी।
वो को कूलेस्ट पीएम को गेमर टैग देना चाहिए। तो वो हम लोग क्या कहते हैं, नमो ओपी इंडिया चैट।
Who is the biggest influencer in India? It's our Prime Minister. मैंने उल्टा दोस्तों में फैला दिया था कि खेलो मेरे साथ।
मैं बीमार हूँ, तुम भी हो जाए।
लोग अब गेमिंग को एक अलग नजरिए से देखेंगे। I think Indian gaming peaked.
मम्मी पापा तुम्हारा बेटा मोदी जी के साथ मिल गया है।
Next, we bring you a special section on the financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's start with the markets now. Then this morning, GIFT Nifty trends indicate a positive start for Indian equity indices. The US stock indices gained driven by technology shares amid mixed economic data, remember, and the Asian shares are trading mixed as well as investors parse through the US unemployment and producer prices data for Qs. Also, oil prices climb on heightened tensions in the Middle East.
In India, the wealth management business is in a sweet spot of sorts. That's thanks to a buoyant capital market and ample demand for these services. The market opportunity for wealth managers is likely to grow in sync with India's economic growth and rising income wealth levels. The key question there is, how can investors capitalize on the growth potential of this industry? You can log into Money Control Pro. You can find out more about India's wealth management industry and all of the other actionable insights. It's the premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights that you're ever going to need, brought to you by Money Control.
All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of the Breakfast Club, also this week's edition of Breakfast Club. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have some feedback, do write in to us. We'd love to hear from you.
Right, let us know. Thank you for staying with us all of this week. Tell us your feedback. For now, it's goodbye from us at TBC.
Bye.
So our first story today is a rather special one. It's one that we discovered right here in our backyard in Noida. Just a few minutes away from our studios is a special little school where you have hundreds of students who are going to be receiving education. This is students with lesser access. Each batch is about 40 students large. They make the yummiest meals from scratch. Just close your eyes. Imagine balushai, chow mein, fluffy bread rolls.
अरे hold on, Toya, stop getting carried away by the food. खबर क्या है ये भी तो बता दे अपने viewers को. It's not just the food, of course. These students are taught how to envision new business models from eager students. It trains them and then it places them into employment. So it's an end-to-end program.
So we're super excited to get to know how so many young people were getting this kind of training so they could essentially be entirely self-reliant in just a span of a few months, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, based on the course. It led us to take a deep dive as we discovered the kind of efforts that we've been seeing going on in the field of skill development across the country over the last few years.
That's right, and it's much needed, no? Because India, there are about 808 million youth, young people below the age of 35, and data suggests that only about 5% of them are formally trained. What that means is that you sometimes have even graduates who aren't prepared for how competitive the job market really is.
The tricky thing is, I mean, you and I both know the job market is a terrifying place if you're a young person. Now, the great thing is that this is something that government after government has tried to work on over the last few years. The Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana was launched in 2015, so a few years ago, and it had one goal, skilling the entire country. Because for most young Indians, the tricky part, paying for building employability, which means paying to get the skills that you need so that you can be employed. That's actually the trickiest part. That's where this mission steps in. You've got so far till date, we talked about 2015 it's starting, till date 1,37 lakh people that have been trained under the scheme.
That's right, but we need to get into more details, right? What does it actually do? How does the program actually run? How many people are training under it? Who funds it, etc.? How do we make sure students aren't fully skilled but also excited to get up in, out there and get into the market as well? So to understand all of this, TBC team visited the Gantry Training Center and this is what we found.
Hello, we're here not at an empty restaurant. We're actually at this very, very cool initiative started within a school in Noida. This is the Gyan Shri School and this is the Skill Training Academy. Right here, those who have
Good morning viewers, hello and welcome to the Morning News Show where we bring you the latest headlines and insightful stories to kickstart your day. I'm Koina Sharma and you are watching CNN News 18. On top of this bulletin, we're tracking a big breaking news coming in from Canada where Canada has recently decreased the number of Indian staff members in its diplomatic missions across India due to shortage of Canadian personnel necessary for the effective management of in-country operations. So these are the latest inputs that we are tracking right now. This move comes in response to India's expulsion of 41 Canadian diplomats last year, which aimed to achieve parity in diplomatic presence. Now, Canada High Court spokesperson has said the decision to implement reductions across our network of missions in India was sadly necessary given the reduction of Canadian staff available to effectively manage and maintain in-country operations. So these are the latest inputs we are tracking in from Canada. Joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Abhishek Jha. Very good morning, Abhishek. What more details do we have about these diplomatic conflicts and present that we are getting reports on?
Well, Koina, we know that since this bilateral ties have not been faring well in the last few months, there have been dozens of Canadian diplomats who were sent back to Canada, and since then, the staffers who used to assist them in their functioning in Delhi, they didn't have much of work, and probably they were expecting that the two sides were expecting that things will smoothen up and they'll come back again, but it doesn't look like new diplomats from Canadian side are going to come back to India at this point of time. And having seen this delay, it looks like Canadian High Commission has now decided to let go several officer staff, and these downsizing has happened across the country. In its message that we have got access to, the Canadian High Commission's Media Relations Department has said that they are confirming that the government of Canada has implemented some office staff reduction across their network. of missions in India. We remember about 40 Canadian diplomats were sent back last year when the two sides, India and Canada, had this tug of war on the issue of killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar,
Right.
and the Indian side had said that Canadian diplomats were performing their duties which were beyond their diplomatic mandate. So since then, the staffers have been in India, have been very less in numbers. However, the Canadian side has maintained that the visa application and the functional work that the embassies and High Commission and the other missions are supposed to do, they are performing normally, but they have stopped at some point the physical verification of visa application. So most of these works are happening online now.
Right, Abhishek, help us also understand what is the reasons that are being cited by Canada's High Commission behind this decision, and how many of Indian staffers members have been reduced from Canada's diplomatic missions?
Well, while we understand that about 40 diplomats, since these diplomats were sent back, so probably the kind of staffers who were attached to these diplomats, they didn't have much of function directly, and that could be one of the reasons. However, the Canadian side has not cited any reason why they have let go so many people across their networks in India in several missions. The numbers of staffers are also not being disclosed as to how many exactly these people have been laid off. But we know that the numbers could run in dozens across the mission. Remember, Canada has about 4 or 5 missions across the country, and several of these missions have been performing without senior diplomats for a very long time now, for a few months, of course. And the Canadian side has, though, confirmed that Canada's visa application centers in India are operating as normal. Most of work has gone online, and the physical work which these diplomats used to have, and the other functionalities, other verticals of functions that these diplomats used to perform, they have been, of course, implemented. But the majority of work and the majority of people's concern is about the visa application process, that the Canadian High Commission has assured that these functions are happening at the normal pace.
Right, Abhishek, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. We'll keep continuing to track this story as the day progresses and we get more updates on it. Right now, we're shifting our focus to the highly volatile state ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. That's